feels like fall. Even today kind of feels like more winter for Florida. We have a cold front, I'll explain that in a second. But that means that a lot of the more cozy recipes that I love to make, I get to share with you guys. And we're gonna start tonight with chicken tortilla soup. I have not made my exact recipe for years. I told my husband it was on the meal plan and he got super excited. It is delicious, really easy. I'll explain that to you guys. But what I meant by the weather is it's literally in the 50s right now, and by tonight it's going to be in the 30s, feeling like in the 20s in November in Florida. Like, that's unheard of. Here's an overview of all the ingredients that you're going to need. You can use any chicken that you want. I have chicken tenders. You can use thighs. You can even make this faster and use rotisserie chicken. I have done that, still equally delicious, but it is just a chicken tortilla soup. I will show you where everything goes. But step one is you're going to want to dice that onion really fine. Drain, leave as is, rinse and drain. Any large pot will do. You don't have to use a Dutch oven. I have and have not. It made no difference, but I'm going on a medium high. Original recipe called for vegetable oil, so that's what we're gonna do. Just about 1 tablespoon. Get the onion in there. Cook this down until the onions are soft and translucent. The onions are starting to get some color, so we're gonna use some good old garlic. My little fork, about 2 of them. Cook this for about 1 minute. I have 2 boxes of the reduced sodium chicken broth. I'm gonna put both in. A little bit at first, in case any of that onion stuck to the bottom of your pot. You can get it off and get all that flavor up into your soup. Then add the rest. Okay. And we have to start getting this up to a boil. Go ahead and add your diced tomatoes, fire roasted best if you can find them. If not, any diced up tomato will be just fine. The whole can. The whole can of corn drained. And the whole can of black beans rinsed and drained. While this is coming up to a boil, take your chicken, because it's already hot enough. Put it away from your body, so when it splashes, it goes that way. Or out to the side, just not towards it. I need to wash that hand, but I'll mix it with this hand. Make sure the chicken is fully submerged. And then we need it to boil. This is almost to a simmer. Once it gets there, we're gonna put the lid on and let this simmer for about 20 minutes or until your chicken's done. I'm scared of raw chicken, so I'm always temperature checking. Yeah, we're good. So take all of your chicken out of the pot. Oh, I get to fish around for a bunch. This is when like doing 2 chicken breasts is better, but either way, I like chicken tenders. So. Into the pot, you're gonna do the juice of 2 limes. And 4. It also says 1 cup of fresh chopped cilantro. I've got this semi-dried stuff just because the cilantro always looks bad in my store. So I kind of fill my palm about that much. I will mix all that back in. Turn this down to a simmer. This part's done. Back here at the chicken, I'm letting it cool off just enough that I can actually work with it. Any of the pieces of the corn or tomatoes, anything like that, will be in the bottom of this bowl. I will just pour them back into the pot. They're not gonna go to waste. But when it comes to the chicken, at this point, you're going to either shred it or dice it, whatever you prefer. We prefer diced, so that's what I'll be doing to all of this. I just cut it into normal bite-sized chunks, and I'll do the whole bowl like that. All the chicken is diced up. There's everything I gotta put back in the pot. And yes, I have chicken, so there's Weasley paws I keep fighting off the counter. All right. Even on low, that's going a bit too far, so I gotta turn that down. Okay. Switch to an actual ladle and throw all this back in the pot. The original recipe I found years ago. Chicken is separate from the soup. Don't ask me why, I can't tell you. But I've got some chicken in the bottom of whatever bowl I'm going to use. And then just ladle however much of the liquid part you also want in your bowl. I did it again. Recently I've been forgetting the salt and the pepper. I did it again tonight. So salt and pepper. Fresh shredded Monterey Jack cheese, any cheese you want. That's up to you, but that's what we're gonna use. I'm gonna throw some of that in my bowl. I have extra lime as well in case anybody wants that. We can cut that into wedges. The tortilla chips. And we're good to go. I gotta be careful how I hold the bowl to show you guys. Cause, ow. Alright, but there is what the soup looks like. You see all the layers in there. This one is delicious. I'm freezing. I'm loving every minute of it. Not complaining. I'm just saying, I'm freezing. I woke up this morning to it literally being like 33 degrees, feeling in the 20s. That's crazy. I love it. It feels like the holidays, so I'm good with that. And I'm very glad I planned a whole week of really warm dinners. This is one of my favorites, but I haven't made it in years. But if you've been around for a long time, you might recognize this one. It is ground beef stew. It is so good. If you like beef stew, but you don't like the texture of when the meat gets all stringy or really chewy, this is definitely for you. Overview of ingredients. The only things missing is my beef is still slightly thawing out. So you'll see the ground beef in a minute. And frozen peas, we don't need them until an hour before it's done. So they're still in the freezer, not worried about that. But a few notes I want to make. Red potatoes or Yukon Golds, don't really use a russet for this. That's one note. I use the baby carrot just to make my life easy. You can use any cut of carrot you want. This is where the magic happens, right here. This is tomato paste with basil, garlic, and oregano. Basil, garlic, and oregano. This is where a good amount of your spices are coming from. As well as this right here, the beefy onion. That stuff just takes this to a whole nother level. I've made it with only the onion, and I've made it without the seasonings in this. It does taste quite a bit different. First steps, we are going to get our beef ready. So get a pan out to brown this up. You're gonna cut your baby carrots into about thirds on each one of those. And you're going to cut these up into bite-sized pieces, peel or no peel. That's up to you. My kids hate it, so I'm gonna peel those. Oh, almost forgot. And finally dice that. I threw the beef in the pan, let it sit there for just a second. That's why you're seeing some nice little brown bits. Then I threw the onion in there, cooking both of that up. Then once this is done, I'll throw this in the crock pot. I also use my handy dandy chopper on the onions. The potatoes are in here, and then as soon as I pour these into the crock pot, I will use this, like this, to chop these up as well. All the cooked beef. This is half the bag of potatoes. Watch. Just line a bunch of these up. Yep. That's why I do this. Half the bag of carrots. 1 packet. Do you remember the trick with this? Bottom. Get that out of my way. Inside. Flip it over. Cut outside. Lid is off. Then you get the whole can all empty. Look at that.
Pink dots. But I'm going to wash my hands so I can get back to work.
Following the exact recipe will still leave you with another cup of broth. It'll leave you with half a bag of carrots and about a half a bag of potatoes. If you want to step up either one of those numbers, if you like it a little more soupy, you still have all the options to adjust. And I stuck that sucker on 8 hours because any beef stew recipe is better the longer you let it go. Also, reminder, 1 hour until yours is going to be done. That's when we're gonna throw in the half a bag of frozen peas. Time to add my frozen peas. I'm only going to use half the bag. So the other half, I've got a freezer Ziploc bag. I'll just wind it up and put it in there. But this way you guys can see it in all of its glory. Look at it just bubbling away. My house has smelled incredible all day. Look at that. So about half the bag. I always take a little bit when I do a recipe like this. I take it to test to see if the carrots are done, potatoes are done, for salt, all the 9 yards. So I already did that, and I just added more salt and a little bit of garlic powder to the pot, but all the vegetables were done. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some biscuits to go with dinner. And yes, I have to use my Ninja Combi again because my oven still broke. I don't know if it's supposed to go on the top or the bottom of this thing, like the middle. So I'm just going middle because I don't feel like dragging out my book, but biscuits are going. I had to babysit them because it made me nervous, but they are definitely done and ready to eat. Mine says 17. I know it's done already though. I switched to the ladle so you guys can see what it looks like. This recipe is just killer. It gives all of those beef stew vibes without dealing with the chunky, shreddy meat. You don't have to worry about that. Here's what my bowl looks like. I'm so happy. I'm sorry, I just really love this recipe. Tonight's dinner recipe I've been thinking about for a while. It was actually supposed to be on my last round of dinner recipes, but it didn't make the cut, and I'm gonna explain why in a second. But it has Cheddar Bay biscuits. Let me explain real quick. It didn't make the last video because for one, I had too many really good recipes, and for two, lots of people in my house do not like that soggy bread texture. And this one is a tomato soup with the Cheddar Bay biscuits as kind of like dumplings cooked on top of it. So we were afraid that it'd get a little soggy. So I'm doing half of the Cheddar Bay biscuits like dumplings on the top and the other half in the oven like normal. So we're playing it safe. This is everything that I'm using. Literally this, except a little bit of butter for the topping of this. But 4 ingredients, 3 ingredients for my soup. I was gonna do a full-blown roasted vegetable soup because I do want a fully pureed soup to do this with. Now you can use any tomato soup recipe you want to, or you can follow this one. It's really, really easy. My oven, lovely thing, is still broken. The heating element is getting replaced tonight, so I have to fudge this. These will be baked in the other little cooker thing of mine, and I wasn't going to be roasting a whole pan of vegetables in that little cooker. So, hence the jar. But you can use any recipe you want to, but if you are gonna change the tomato soup from this one and just do this method, you do need to puree the soup. Your pasta sauce is a pint, which is 16 ounces. I have to double that, but I do have ounces on this thing. So that's what I'm going to use. But 16 ounces is 2 cups. Turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. The rest of this will go to another recipe. It doesn't look like I'm wasting, because I'm not, I promise. Half a cup of chicken broth per round, so I'm gonna go a full cup in mine. Heavy cream, 1/3 of a cup for each one, so I'm going to 2/3. My oldest and my husband are telling me it needs to be seasoned. So there's salt and pepper. I think I see Italian seasoning about to come my way. Probably some garlic powder. All right, scoops.
Nope, I don't get it.
Whoops.
We have like 3 or 4 open days this month already.
Okay, lid and simmer.
Your tag.
The biscuits and the ones in there should be done now. Look good. Beanie! Take a look.
The heck is that?
It smells like pizza. It smells like pizza in that pot.
What is it?
It's Cheddar Bay biscuit soup. Okay, now.
Are you gonna put my biscuits in there?
There's some in here, like dumplings, and then the rest of them are over here. Okay, put the butter on all of these. Really, really, really hoping these are not still crazy doughy soft.
We need white.
Taking two. Here's what my little bowl looks like. This was actually very good. I was so scared of the texture, but it was delicious. I actually preferred the ones that were cooked in there over these, but they were both fantastic. And then dessert tonight is Grinch cookies. I've made them before on the channel, but the recipe for these will be in the next video. I'm making like a whole Christmas themed thing, so those will be in that. We are a big fan of Greek chicken in this house, and I have tested a bunch of different recipes and different ways to make it and sides and stuff. So I'm going to share one of the easier ones and the marinade that makes it really delicious. Plus I'm going to make a couscous to go with it. Food's so nice, they named it twice. I think that's funny. And some fresh zucchini later, but right now we got to work on the marinade. The original recipe also specifies 2 pounds of chicken, and I'm like right there. I'm using chicken breast tenderloins. It's just what I prefer, but you can do this with chicken breast, chicken thighs, you name it, you could do it with it. But this is basically everything you need right here, including your tools to get it done. I have a big bowl with a lid. You could do this in a Ziploc bag, however you really want to. Half a cup of plain Greek yogurt. I just use one of these little personal containers. That's just what I use. Tends to be a little bit more than half a cup, but I really don't care. The flavor is delicious. 1/4 cup olive oil. 5 cloves of minced garlic. I just put like a pretty decent heaping, like that amount of the garlic. You need 3 lemons because you're going to juice all 3, but you're going to first zest one of them entirely. Just one. Pick this one. When you're zesting, just stop at the white part. Do not zest that white. It's bitter. I get as much of the yellow off as I can, and always remember to turn this over because there's always zest stuck to the back. All 3 lemons. This way. Last one. For the spices, 2 tablespoons of ground oregano, 1 teaspoon onion powder, 1 teaspoon ground coriander, teaspoon of salt. Ooh, too much salt. There we go. And about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. That looks good. Whisk everything together. Add your chicken. Okay. My spatula from earlier, I will push all of the chicken down into the marinade. Make sure it's good and covered, every bit of it. Now we pop a lid on. You can marinate this anywhere from 30 minutes up to 24 hours. Mine will go in the fridge for about 7.5 hours today. Fast forward almost 8 hours later, take out the chicken. Let this come up to room temperature before you're trying to cook it, or at least somewhat close, just not straight out of the fridge. I'm gonna use my Ninja Foodie on the actual grill setting tonight. That is the best way I've done this chicken, but you could do it in a pan, in the oven, on a real grill plate, whatever you really wanna do, however you wanna cook your chicken. I just find that this is what works best for me. I'll set this to preheat in a minute. It gets very loud, so that's why I'm not gonna actually show too much of the cooking process. To go with the chicken, I love pearl couscous. I think it's absolutely delicious. I have found several different recipes on Pinterest. I'm just gonna pick one. I know it's got chicken broth instead of the water, and it's got lemon zest and lemon juice. So I'll be doing that, as well as just cutting these up, seasoning them, butter and olive oil in a pan, and just making them soft, and that's how we're gonna do this. So couscous and zucchini to go with it. There is the grilled Greek chicken, zucchini, and the couscous. So there's the main. And then anytime I make Greek chicken, I love to have some kind of pita. These little naan dippers are so good. Hummus, and tzatziki. This one is that one from the farmer's market, the pizza one. But I mean, it's not pizza. It's just Mediterranean, but it's really good. Just a slight bit of chicken left, but my husband's still eating. The couscous, my kids don't really like couscous. This is mostly for the adults and like Tristan because he's older. But all the zucchini is gone. I do have 2 more I could make if I wanted to, but we don't need to. And then this is half gone. These are almost completely gone. Like my family likes Greek night. Final dinner recipe for this video. It is another family favorite, but I personally haven't made this one, I don't think in 2025, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm looking forward to it. I already told my husband, he's looking forward to it. And if you've been here for a long time, then you might know the Mexican stuffed shells recipe, but if not, we're gonna share it right now. And it's literally this simple. The only hard part is finding the jumbo shells. I have to go on the top shelf of the grocery store and usually climb to the back to find the box. But otherwise, this is all you're going to need right here. Boil these to the lowest number on there. So these say 14 to 15 minutes. I stop at 14 and drain them no matter what, and brown this up, and then we'll catch back up. I also decided to make some cookies tonight. They are all just the packaged cookies. I bought the candy cane ones and the double chocolate, and then obviously the Christmas trees. I cut each one of these in half, and the chocolate ones, because the big cookies only make 12 and I wanted 24. So then I did some of the plain for both of those and then some of the Christmas tree with the other ones. Just a little fun dessert for tonight. I do make sure to keep stirring these so they don't stick to the bottom of the pot or stick to each other. And then the meat, I like it to get a little bit of sear on one side, but I do also season my meat. That's just something I believe in. So that's just the Kinder's steak blend and the actual regular blend, which is just salt, pepper, garlic. Once the meat is browned, I will take whatever taco seasoning I like and just put 1 package of that in there to wake it up. That's been going about 1 minute. Now is when I add my refried beans. I love these refried black beans. They just have a really good flavor. You can skip the beans altogether. You can add normal, whatever you want to do on this step. All you're trying to do at this step is to get the beans warm enough that you can mix them in and thoroughly incorporate them into the taco meat, and then remove this whole pan from the heat. Now it's time to assemble. You're going to take your entire jar of salsa and any heat level that you want to. If you want to use the picante kind that's less chunky, do that too. But put the entire jar in the bottom of the 13 by 9. Okay, shake it around and get it edge to edge. Take a noodle. I put them under a little cold water, but they are still hot. And then take a scoop of the mixture. Make sure it's in both sides of the shell. And line them up in your dish, and then do all the shells just like this one. Another scoop. Make sure it's in the shell. Line it up. Depending on how full you stuff them, you will end up with some extra noodles, but finish out all of your meat and stuff the pan like as far as you can stuff that thing. I have the big can of the red enchilada sauce because I can never remember if it's the big can or the small can. I think it's the big can. But gently pour it over all of the shells. Pretty sure it's definitely the big can, because any part of the shell that doesn't have the enchilada sauce on it, that part can get crunchy. There's still about 1/3 of a can in there though, so I mean, maybe if you're careful, you can get away with the smaller can. Cover the whole pan in foil. 350 for a half an hour, and then we're gonna take this off and cover it in cheese. Bubbling away.
Can I see?
Around the edges back there.
It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I will eat this entire thing.
All right, so you're gonna put some cheese. You can do cheddar, you can do Monterey Jack, pepper jack. I have Fiesta blend. Put as much of it as you want. Back in the oven, uncovered for 10 to 15 minutes. Look at just the bubbly goodness. I let this sit for a few minutes before I scoop it, just till that calms down a little bit. They stay together in the pan as long as you scoop them right. But here's my plate. I like to top it with sour cream and a little bit of green onions, but you could do anything. Cilantro, hot sauce. My husband usually does some hot sauce. They're just really, really good and a real family favorite. We just finished up dinner, and our oldest, Tristan, he's out for his anniversary dinner with his girlfriend tonight. Otherwise, there would be nothing left in this pan, but I'll be saving these for him. But yes, I said we love this dish, I meant it. But that was the last dinner recipe for this video. I have several more coming, so if y'all want more recipe videos, just let me know down below. I thought about doing a few Thanksgiving ones, but I've done those over the past. So if one shows up in the next week magically, that just means that I got the little wild hair and I decided to do it. Otherwise, if you need any help with Thanksgiving, all you gotta do is YouTube Rach+5 Thanksgiving, and there's tons of those recipe videos to get you through for the next week and a half before Thanksgiving. And it sounds so crazy to say that Thanksgiving is just over a week away. That's absolutely nuts. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.